They are now facing this week, week 4 in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys fans, which this game will be at home. They're going to be facing, for the second straight year, a generational, quote unquote, superstar, a player who you thought would be your franchise guy for the next decade plus, someone who is likely the highest jersey seller, maybe not for the Cowboys. Micah might be second to Dak, but definitely in the top three. Micah Parsons is about to do the same exact thing that we saw Luka Doncic do like 200 days ago, which is after an unexpected trade, come in a yellow uniform and most likely put on a dominant performance. Luka's first game against the Mavericks, a triple-double, a 20-point Lakers win, and we saw the Dallas Mavericks fans cheer him on, especially when he actually made his first steps back into Dallas in front of that home crowd, or I guess road crowd, but hometown crowd for him because he considered himself a lifetime Maverick before they shipped him out in the middle of the night. On the flip side of things, Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers about to do something exactly similar at Jerry World. Again, he made it a thing, and it's become a thing. So like I said, with your Cat Cave Sea Cat, I think it could definitively work out. They're going to come into Jerry World and likely lay the smackdown on primetime television. And all the while, Micah Parsons has a lot of respect and love for the Dallas fans, especially considering the fact that when the Packers reporters asked him yesterday, Micah Parsons, man who wanted to be a Cowboy, but they shipped you out to Green Bay against what was previously your will, but also succumbing to your trade request because you couldn't get a contract done. Micah, what do you think your reception will be like in Dallas?
I think Dallas loves me. I think they're going to give me a good round of applause, and
Wow.
there's no hard feelings there, at least for me. And I think it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think this is some of the best football you're going to get in Dallas when it's Sunday night against a rivalry opponent.
Micah Parsons forecasting that the Dallas Cowboys fans are going to not only cheer for him, but it's going to be a great environment as the Packers likely beat them by multiple scores. Coming off of a disappointing loss against the Browns, you know the Pack want to get back, and no better team to get back at than the team that they have made a ritual out of beating up on, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. CCAT, I know that Micah has love for that team. But the other thing I do know is those Cowboys fans, they don't want to drop to 1-3. They don't want to see their squad fall short. Not at home, not against that team that ended their last playoff run in an embarrassing way, and also that team that has had a now running history of running them out of their own stadium. I know they got love for Micah, and Micah got love for them. The question today is, should Cowboys fans be actively rooting against, booing, making it uncomfortable for Micah Parsons on Sunday, or because he's beloved, because he wanted to be a Cowboy, should they, as he called it, he said applaud him.
Hmm.
He said cheer for him. Should they be gracious in his welcome back to Dallas? That is the question that I rise today. And before I toss it to you, C-Cat, I'm going to do something a little bit out of character.
Whoa.
I never, ever generally side against the player. I am the one that always says fans should be more appreciative of the hard work, the sweat equity, especially when I'm talking about a superstar who has meant a lot to you as a fan, who drove winning for you, at least in the regular season with Micah Parsons, and also set all kind of records when it comes to guys that come out of the gates getting 12 straight, four straight 12-sack seasons. You don't see that. It's an unprecedented thing what Micah Parsons was able to do in a Cowboys uniform. I think Cowboys fans should be booing the hell out of that man from the moment he walks in that stadium to the moment that he walks out. And it has nothing to do with Micah being a villain or Micah Parsons being a guy that you now have to hate because he's sporting another color. You have your life on the line. You have your season on the line. You have your dignity on the line. You saw it happen with Luka Doncic and them Lakers. Y'all cheered for him. Y'all paraded for him, and you hated on Nico. But at the end of the day, Mavericks fans, how much better do you feel now? 200 and about. I looked it up actually on Sunday night. CCAT, the separation between Luka Doncic's first game against the Dallas Mavericks in a Lakers uniform and Micah Parsons' first game in a Packers uniform against the Dallas Cowboys. 214 days. 214. C-Cat, that might not mean a lot to you because I don't know how much you are familiar with the area codes here in Texas, but
No.
the Dallas area code, most prominent one and the one that most of my homies from the D got, 214. 214 days separated from you having to watch Luka Doncic stump on your forehead. You might have to watch the same thing with Micah Parsons, already forecasting how he's going to have regrets of sacking Dak Prescott. I do believe Cowboys fans should be booing him and making it uncomfortable him from the start to the end, and it has less to do with how much you should love Micah Parsons and more to do with, damn it, you're desperate and you need a win.
Yeah, I think the initial reaction is, wow, you are great, and we liked when you were great with us, and now you're hurting our team. Now we don't like you. You're on the other side. Like, I'm sorry, Micah Parsons, the breakup was extremely public. And yes, even though you made it clear and obvious that at the end of week 18, the offseason begins, Micah Parsons wanted to be a Cowboy and he would have taken a hometown discount. Even though that is true, I think Cowboys fans are going to boo him too.
They should.
I think you have to. You are a Cowboy fan before Micah, during Micah, and after Micah. You just got to resign yourself to disliking a player that you previously cheered for very hard and was the best player on your team. I think you got to boo Micah. I think you also got to boo him because he thinks that the applause is like guaranteed.
Yes.
Micah should not have said that.
No. He can't. You can't say that. If you're Micah Parsons, you do take the high road, which I like what he did. He said there's no animosity from his side. He says that he does believe that there is a mutual love and mutual respect between him and the fan base, and I get that. And I'm telling you right now, speaking to Cowboys fans and knowing some, there absolutely is. Nobody is blaming Micah for his exit from Dallas. Everybody knows that the man who was in charge of that thing, who let it all go awry, is the guy who nicknamed the building after himself, and that is Jerry Jones. I am not saying that booing Micah is saying that his departure was on his own behalf, but I do think that his assumption that you should applaud him, his assumption that you should applaud him as he's sacking your quarterback, wreaking havoc on your porous offensive line. I think that is specifically why you have to boo him. Have you some pride? Have you a backbone? Boo that man.
Yeah, you cannot assume. You let the fans decide.
Thank you.
Let the fans kind of take that first step forward, and then you embrace it. And maybe after the fact, I knew they were going to cheer me. I love that city, and we had some great memories together. But you can't say, they're going to cheer for me. They know how great I am. They love me.
They love me in the D, baby. Play it one more time again. Micah Parsons being asked whether or not, or what he thinks the fan engagement and reception is going to be from him. I know what Jerry Jones wants them to do, but he thinks it's going to go more like this.
I think Dallas loves me. I think they're going to give me a good round of applause, and
Good round of
there's
applause.
no hard feelings there.
Yeah,
a good round of applause. Micah, relax. Are you sure?
They're going to do they're going to pause the game at the first media timeout and then put a camera on Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Thank you, Micah Parsons. And everyone's going to stand up and just clap it up and give him everything that he thinks that he deserves. Micah, we couldn't have missed the playoffs without you. Micah, we couldn't have gotten Monday Night Football 4 times despite barely being 500 without you, Micah.
The other side of this, too, is the Cowboys are not only banged up right now, they're not good. Even when they were healthy, they're not good. CeeDee Lamb, high ankle sprain, your best weapon on offense. He's going to be out, and we don't know how long he's actually going to be out. Timetable's been estimated around 2 to 3 more weeks. Tyler Booker, the guard that you drafted out of Alabama in the top 15, the guy who was supposed to shore up that offensive line who looks good, he also going to be out. Trayvon Diggs, who's not looked good this year, the cornerback who Micah says he's good friends with, he might not play. He didn't practice yesterday, and we'll see what happens for them going forward. Deron Bland was limited in practice. That's the corner on the other side. Your team is banged up. Your quarterback, Dak Prescott, needs all the help he can get. And also, that defense you have seems to be the serum for a struggling offense. We saw what the Browns were able to do to the Packers last week in an upsetting fashion, holding Jordan Love and that Packers offense that's supposed to be explosive. Matt LaFleur, supposed to be the boy genius, a guy that I do believe in as a play caller and as a head coach, but got absolutely shut down on the road last week. They're going to walk in with something to prove. And the Cowboys defense these days is a get right team. You saw what Caleb Williams did to him.
Oh, it diced him up.
298, 4 touchdowns. He was throwing flea flickers into the end zone. Like, you don't think that Jordan Love want to get some get right against y'all? You got to do everything in your own ability to help your team feel like they got a chance in this one. And I guarantee you, cheering for Micah Parsons, giving him a round of applause is not going to endear you at all to the current Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't think if you're a Cowboys fan and you bought a ticket to Cowboys Packers on Sunday Night Football that you are excited for the possibility of thanking Micah Parsons for his contributions as a Cowboy.
Thank you, Micah.
I think you walk into that building thinking, I want to beat down the Packers and their arrival, and Micah Parsons is behind enemy lines, so I know him more than anyone else on that sideline. I'm going to boo him harder than Jordan Love.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But at the end of the day, if I do see a fan base that is gracious to Micah Parsons, if I do see on Sunday night a fan base that welcomes him with a warm cheer and embrace, I'm going to know immediately exactly how that game is going to go, and I don't think it's going to be close. I already think it might be a blowout, but I don't think that would be a good tone to set in the first place. I was looking, CCAT, you and I are both in a Survivor League, full disclosure. You and I both have survived through 3 weeks. I am looking back on some of my picks, and I got some guts.